So it's been known for a while that Liverpool are going in for Kerkez. They want to sign him this summer, and it's pretty much known that he is probably going to go to Liverpool. But we've got confirmation from Fabrizio Romano that Kerkez will join Liverpool. And I have to say, I'm not the most happy about this, considering that Kerkez was a player I was talking about a lot come January, a player that I wanted Manchester United to sign. And it's a bit rough because I said Kerkez and Aït-Nouri in January were the two wing backs I wanted Manchester United to sign, and one's gone to City and one's gone to Liverpool, our literal biggest rivals. So, yay. But fantastic players, and look, I'm happy with Dorgu. I like Dorgu, but I always felt that Manchester United needed two wing back signings because Dorgu can play right wing back, and I always had this like hope, and I was saying this in January, that we would sign Kerkez and we could rebuild Dorgu, Kerkez as the wing backs. I mean, look, we've got Cunha. Gyökeres less likely, but you know what? We got one of the players I wanted in my rebuild so far. Actually, two of the players I wanted in my rebuild that I put on January 20th. But yeah, Kirk is going to Liverpool. We're going to have a conversation about it. We're going to have a chat about it. Obviously, a player, as I said, that I am a big fan of, a player that I rate incredibly highly. There's a reason I wanted him at Manchester United, because I think he would be a good wing back. And I'm going to talk about how he fits in at Liverpool, his role, why I think it's a good signing for Liverpool. But first of all, the news. Romano confirms Kerkez is joining Liverpool. Kerkez not listening to any other call or approaches as he's going to join Liverpool. It's just a matter of time and technical steps, says Romano. We also know, on top of that, actually, that Kerkez and Liverpool, the deal will happen soon, said Romano this morning. And Kerkez is coming, mate, he said to a Liverpool fan. So Romano has confirmed about a quadrillion times that Kerkez, in the last 24 hours, is joining Liverpool. We might not have the here we go, but he said, look, Kerkez is joining Liverpool. It also is probably heating up even more because of Robertson's exit. David Ornstein said that Atletico Madrid are weighing up a move to sign Andy Robertson. No formal talks between the clubs, blah, 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 blah. So Liverpool look like they're going to get maybe a small fee for Andy Robertson, obviously 31 years of age. And that also clears room, wages as well, to allow the Kerkez deal to come in financially. When will it end? Frimpong, fantastic, amazing signing. Wirtz, the generational signing, and now Kerkez. When will it end? They're going to go for number 21, and I do not like that one bit. If they get a top striker, if they get Alexander Isak, which I don't think you will, I think he'll stay at Newcastle, it's over. You get Alexander Isak, it's over. I still think arguably centre-back depth is needed. There's rumours of Kwanzaa leaving, and you can use that funds to get a centre-back just because Konate doesn't stay fit. I think centre-back depth is one. Maybe you want another DM for Gravenberch cover because he was ran into the ground, maybe. I don't think it's a priority, but I think, you know, striker and centre-back depth is probably where they're looking next as well. So let's talk about Kerkez. Let's talk about what Liverpool are doing in this fullback reset and why it's really good work from Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid, Andy Robertson likely leaving, Frimpong joins on the right, bringing pace, width, creativity, overlaps, different kind of fullback, more traditional, more attacking-minded. Kerkez arrives as part of the fullback overhaul, bringing fresh energy, youth, dominance, much-needed pace. And one thing about Kerkez and Frimpong is they're both rapid, so Liverpool all of a sudden have those blasts of pace out wide as well. Under Arne Slot this season, he's making some adaptations, he's making some changes. He wants his fullbacks this season, and I've done videos on this in the past, to play high, to play wide. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what he wants from his fullbacks, to play high and wide this season, because his DM, which will be Gravenberch, will likely tuck between the two centre-backs and build up, and the two centre-backs will split and defend wider areas because they're both good at defending the wide channels, which is also wouldn't surprise me if you did go and look at someone like a Schlotterbeck. I know he's had some injury issues. That's going to allow your fullbacks to bomb up high and wide, because in build-up, you're going to have the DM dropping deeper, the two centre-backs and the DM dropping deep, inviting the central pressure, which is going to open up space to pass it out wide to Frimpong and Kerkez to do their stuff. And Kerkez, when you look at him, I think he's decent defensively, but he is more of an attacking-minded fullback, loves to get up and down the flank. I think he, like his overlapping numbers, I'm going to show you his overlapping numbers in a minute, but there's a reason his overlapping numbers are so high getting forward. He's the perfect guy for this, because what's this heat map show you? Yeah, it shows you that he stays out wide. You know, Trent would come in, this and that, this and that. He stays out wide, and that's what Arne Slot's going to want. And I'm going to explain this in more detail in a second. But what Arne Slot's going to want is his fullbacks to overlap, to stay out wide, to stretch teams, create space. This is what Arne Slot wants from his fullbacks. He wants Kerkez to be relentless with his overlapping runs. And that's what Kerkez does. If you look at his overlapping runs, this was from Opta Analysis. Look at 237 off the ball runs, attacking direction, basically one of the best in the league, yeah. Kerkez is relentless with overlapping runs, attacking, getting forward. He looks to hug the touchline. He likes to stretch defensive blocks. His overlaps will force the fullback to make a decision. Do we go with Kerkez or do we mark the winger? It means the opposition's winger has got to get back, or a midfielder's got to come out of the middle, which will open up space in the middle to go and track Kerkez making those runs. This creates, often though, if this doesn't happen, 2v1 overloads. If Kerkez is providing an overlap, Gakpo's really good on the inside. That creates 2v1, Kerkez and Gakpo versus the opposition's fullback, which create overloads, which will make it easier for Liverpool to get in the crosses, to get in the shots, to be more of an attacking threat. You're going to pair him with Diaz, you're going to pair him with Gakpo, you're going to pull defenders away from central areas as well, and that's going to open up gaps. Because all of a sudden, if Kerkez has the ball and he plays it into the middle to Wirtz, and Wirtz likes to come out to the left, Wirtz often drifts out to left. So let's say Wirtz is in the left half space, and you've got Kerkez and Gakpo out wide. Kerkez may drag the defenders out wide. There's maybe 2 defenders out wide, and all of a sudden Kerkez plays it to Wirtz, and Wirtz sees a space in the middle and plays it through the space in the middle, and all of a sudden Liverpool have a shot. Because again, being out wide stretches the opposition's defence, which means there's more space between the opposition's back four if they've got to defend really wide. This also will generate space for cutbacks, low crosses, all of that stuff. Wirtz can do some central passes, or there's going to be space for them overlapping, getting past the fullback, putting in the low crosses, putting in the cutbacks. And look, Liverpool have some clinical players. Jota, I know he's not had the best season. I know we might go, but if Liverpool putting loads of cutbacks in, Jota's the kind of guy that if he was playing striker, you kind of feel like he's going to get on the end of that. He's going to put that in the back of the net. And Slot is going to play high possession 4-2-3-1. There's going to be wide overloads. And Kerkez is going to be essential to that. He's going to be essential to unlocking the deep low blocks. So yeah, as you can see, look at his overlapping ball runs. This is off the ball runs. This is why Slot has brought him in. Often out wide, very attacking minded. So who is Kerkez? He's 21. He plays for Bournemouth. He was at AZ Alkmaar. I spoke about him a little bit last summer, but I said I think he's very good, he's very talented, but he's still a bit raw. I think he needed another season at Bournemouth, and he had that other season at Bournemouth. And for me, him and Anthony Robinson were the 2 best left-backs in the league. Last season, I thought he was fantastic. He's got a very high ceiling, very big game mentality, and look, intensity, overlapping runs, young, hungry, going to get better. Liverpool's to step up in his career, sustainable environment, sustainable system, wants the move. What's not to like about that? If you're a Liverpool fan, what's not to like about that? He also is physically good. There's a lot of questions around players come to the Premier League and they struggle with the physical demands and they flop. He can do it in the Premier League. He's proven that. He's proven, but he's got the physical attributes. He's really well built. I don't know if you've noticed that. But when it comes to sprints, distance covered, he's literally at the top of Premier League fullbacks when it comes to distance covered sprints, just showing his athletic power to get up and down, which is something that Slot's going to demand a lot. With Frimpong and with Kerkez, you've got 2 fullbacks that love to get up and down, like you've got 2 fullbacks that are absolute tanks at getting up and down, absolute runners. And I think there was criticism of Trent, and valid criticism of Trent this season, in terms of, was he always given 1,000,000 trillion % to get back? Was he always really, whereas these players, they do get back and they do, run up and down and put crazy amounts of effort in and fitness and everything. Obviously, as I said, delivers massive overlaps, underlaps from wide zones, versatile in that sense. He's faster, he's more athletic than Robertson at this stage. The pace, the stamina, the passing, the aggression is what Slot's going to want. It's what Slot's going to want, and it's going to be key for what Liverpool want to do. He also is a just crossing machine. He's very good when it comes to things like crossing, and I believe that he averaged 3.74 crosses per 90 in the Premier League last season. Also apparently ranked first for most crosses coming from deep byline zones, showing he's a classic fullback. And I've always said, I don't like how City were playing centre-backs at fullback. I don't know like how Arsenal had this centre-back at fullback approach. So as much as I dislike Liverpool, I like the approach they're doing with fullbacks a lot more than City's approach in the past. But City are changing that now. And Arsenal's approach in the past, I hate Arsenal and City when they were, let's buy some centre-backs and play them at fullback. I want attacking fullbacks. That's what the game is about. They bring so much to the game, and that's what Arne Slot is doing. And I think that will be exciting in that sense for Liverpool. But he's very good at delivering low crosses, whip balls, and cutbacks with accuracy. If you look at some of the big games, I think he got an assist in the Tottenham game. He had a very good game versus Arsenal. If you look at some of his Manchester City as well, I think he got an assist in that game when he played Manchester City. He's had some very good performances in the big games for Bournemouth this season. And something he does that I think is very special, very key, and I've not seen anyone really mention him when I've read up what people have said about him, is I find he creates space for attackers by dragging defenders wide, which is, again, what Slot wants. I notice Kerkez gets the ball and he will drag it out wide and he will take a defender with him. And he creates space for the attackers to make a run, which he can play it to Florian Wirtz, and Florian Wirtz can play it through, or he can play that pass through. I think he's very good at taking defenders with him. I think he's very good in terms of his movement, his IQ, and I don't think people notice that. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. But ultimately, he's going to feed Salah, he's going to feed Gakpo, he's going to feed whoever comes in as your striker signing, I'm assuming, because Nunes will probably go, there's Saudi links, and that's what he's going to do well. There is questions around defensive reliability. You know, is he the guy defensively, this and that, but he's strong in 1v1s. I think when it comes to 1v1 defending, Jules, he's very good. 1v1s, Jules, getting back. Positionally, I think he's very good. He's very smart. He's not going to get caught out like Trent would. Obviously, Robertson's always been quite strong defensively compared to Trent. You've always been better defensively on the left. The question is aerial. I do think his aerials aren't the best, but look, Van Dijk's going to be the centre-back on his side. That's not the end of the world. He can develop that. But I think he brings defensive cover. I think he brings a lot of attacking threat, which is probably the more important thing. But he is, secure in both senses. And if you're defensively good, you're going forward good, you're, technically good, and you've got the athleticism for the league, that's key. But you just want to have the IQ, the adaptability. Can you do it in a different system? Can you do it in a different role? And I think he can. I find that he reads attacking scenarios really well. I think his decision-making is good. His anticipation is good. I think he adapts well to tactical shifts. So I think, Slot wants fluid possession. I think he will adapt well to that. I think, in a side with intelligent movers like Wirtz, he's going to thrive. Players that make moves. I think Szoboszlai and McAllister often go into free license roles as well and make the movement. I think he worked with that. And as I said, he's shown development. He's shown that he's mentally tough. He's shown development over the years. And then if you look at it in general, this is a long-term investment with a high upside. He's got years of development ahead. He's probably one of the best fullbacks in the world at his age. Very consistent wide creator, very attacking, and it is the kind of fullback that Slot will want going forward. So I have to say, I'm very jealous. I always wanted him at Manchester United. I think it's a fantastic player. I think it's a fantastic signing, and it is frustrating how good a business Liverpool is doing this window. Please make it stop. I've had enough. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.